Hyundai and Kia are seeing huge demands for their new electric crossovers, the EV6 as well as the Ioniq 5. And while many out there think they're twins, that's not necessarily true because there's another vehicle sharing the same platform and motors and battery packs, etc., same technology, and that vehicle is from Genesis, the luxury division of Hyundai. That vehicle is coming out this year. That is the GV60. Here in North America, we're not the first to get the GV60. It should be arriving on our shores later here in 2022. And depending on where you're at in the world, it's going to have different configurations. But now we're finally getting news of how it's going to be configured for our market, and it's packing serious power. Heading over to automotive news, GV60 will be all-wheel drive and deliver up to 483 horsepower. So that Sport Plus model that we saw for Great Britain is coming here to the United States. Don't worry, we'll get in the spreadsheet to see how it compares against other luxury options on the market. We are only getting all-wheel drive variants, 2 of them. We are not getting that rear-wheel drive model that Great Britain and many parts of the world are getting. Advanced travels 248 miles on a single charge, and the performance model has 235 miles, which kind of lines up fairly well with the Lexus RZ 450e, but this vehicle has like 150 horsepower more or so roughly. All models will have the 77.4 kilowatt hour battery, and the advanced entry model will have 314 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. And the performance model, which is called Sport Plus in Great Britain, is giving us 260 kilowatt motors delivering 429 horsepower. There's a boost mode button on the steering wheel, which will increase performance to 483 horsepower and a massive 516 pound-feet of torque. That performance model will also have 21-inch wheels, while the base model will have 20-inch wheels. Both of them will tow 2,000 pounds. We have not got official pricing, but just as I was expecting, the GV60 will start around $55,000 US. We're heading to the spreadsheet. We're focusing on these 2 luxury tiers. One tier is not better than the other. I just wanted to overflow them in this sort of format instead of making it extra wide for you guys. We have the GV60 Advanced, which is essentially the same powertrains as the Ioniq 5 and EV6 all-wheel drive models. Super quick and snappy. 5.5 seconds 0 to 60. Performance model is taking, it should be around 4.5 seconds 0 to 60 with pushing nearly 500 horse. It could even be faster than 4.4 seconds to 60. Now, don't forget that the GV70 electric version will be coming sometime in the next year. That will my guess is, at least for the American market, we'll be getting the spotlight next fall, where the GV60 gets the spotlight this fall of 2022, this winter, depending on where you're at, when it's available. And I'm expecting the GV60 performance to incur probably at least a 10 grand premium over the base GV60 Advance. You know, when I drove the Ioniq 5 all-wheel drive model with 310 horsepower, I thought that was plenty enough power for the average person. But no, Genesis is like, that's not good enough. We're going to give you an extra 100 to 150 or so horsepower, depending on if you want that overboost function. That is just absolutely insane. But it's good to see, as a luxury brand of EVs, they're not scared to give us lots of power. I just hope that the chassis can keep up with that much power. The Ioniq 5's chassis is definitely not up to snuff to how much power that the vehicle delivers. It doesn't feel like a very balanced vehicle, at least in the all-wheel drive version that we get here with 310 horsepower or so. But down here, we also have some additional contenders. The Audi e-tron's been out for a while now, for a few years, but BMW's coming out with the iX, massive power on that vehicle, over 500 horse, and that starts at $83,000. Genesis is going to be able to offer nearly that much power for maybe 15-20 grand less. It'll be fun to see how they price that performance model with that overboost function. Don't forget the Lexus RZ 450e will be coming out by the end of this year. The interesting thing there is that their credits are going to be running out. I don't have an exact time frame, but definitely by the end of 2023, if not by mid 2023, the tax credit for Toyota and Lexus vehicles will be completely used up by that point. But keep in mind, the legislation can always change where tax credits are indefinitely extended, etc. So it's kind of up in the air for them with that tax credit. But 308 horsepower, I feel like the RZ 450e will go perfectly comparison against the GV60 Advance. You look at those horsepower numbers, you look at the 0 to 60s. Again, this 5.2 is guaranteed from Lexus. This is just my estimation of the GV60 Advanced. That vehicle has more torque, but keep in mind that we have a smaller battery pack on the Lexus, which should allow it to be a little bit quicker. Now, let's talk about range here. 225 miles for the Lexus, at least when it comes to their smallest wheel option on that vehicle. When we're talking 21-inch wheels on the GV60 Performance, we're still getting 235 miles. Larger battery pack helps, of course. And we should probably update this GV70 range to probably like 225. You got to keep in mind that the full battery electric platform of the GV60, it's also a smaller vehicle, should be more aerodynamic, should also be a little bit more efficient than the GV70 that's been converted into an electric vehicle. But the Genesis GV60 has the Lexus when it comes to range. It's got about 23 more miles in it, and they're going to be comparable when it comes to 0 to 60. And we don't have pricing on either of these vehicles, but if the GV60 comes on at 55 with plenty of tax credits, it's going to be a Lexus with probably a higher sticker price and a reduction in tax credit in the next year or so. Don't forget, the Cadillac Lyriq is also coming out, and the Cadillac Lyriq is sharing its platform with Acura. Now, the Acura model, if you haven't watched my video, will be coming out in 2024, but the Cadillac Lyriq is entering production as I speak, and that has 340 horsepower. So it should also compete very well against the RZ and the entry-level GV60 and the Audi e-tron. I feel like they're all right there in the same ballpark. We're going to have a lot of fun comparisons coming down the hatch between these powerful entry-level EVs that cost at least 55 to 60K starting out. Again, they're luxury vehicles and they can command those sort of prices. So to wrap things up, are you impressed with how Genesis is offering those vehicles here in the United States for the GV60 with the Advanced and the Performance models? It's a heck of a lot of power, in my opinion, starting at over 300 horsepower and over boosted to nearly 500 horsepower. Range, in my opinion, is very good on both of them. And so we're going to have a very hot EV race. The thing is, all of these vehicles that you see on the spreadsheet right now, they're all going to sell out. They're not going to have any problem selling. The issue right now, not only for EVs, but for all cars, is that the demand completely outstrips the supply. And that's not going to be an exception for these luxury vehicles coming onto the market. Competition is a beautiful thing, and we're having some really tasty options here for the luxury SUV EV segment here in 2022, but I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Genesis, Hyundai, Kia news in the future. If you're watching this video when it goes out, happy Mother's Day to either you or the mothers in your life. Happy Mother's Day to my beautiful wife. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.